In a world where trust is shattered and love is tested, one channel dares to uncover the untold stories of heartbreak and betrayal. Welcome to Heartbreak Chronicles, where real-life tales of infidelity are unraveled, secrets exposed, and lives forever changed. Join us as we navigate the complex world of relationships, offering support, understanding, and a place for those who have faced the pain of betrayal. Subscribe to Heartbreak Chronicles now, because every story deserves to be told, and every heartbreak deserves to be heard. Story 1. Wife cheated on me during her cancer treatment. Wife that has cancer cheated. She wants to work it out. Hey guys, first-time poster. Please excuse me as it's 5 a.m. after I found out my wife cheated. I am 33, she is 33. I'll give the backstory first. We met in high school, been together for 17 years and have 2 kids. Our early years were rocky. Her parents didn't like me and were constantly saying she can do better and would try to hook her up with another man. I am Asian and our culture is messed up. But we had wild sex, but what high school kid didn't? In college, I had a small group of friends. One of them is named C. In our group everyone had girlfriends except C. He tried hooking up with one of our friends' girlfriends. I don't know the full story, but that friend and his girlfriend stopped hanging out with us. Some time passes and I find my wife texting him often. I found out and confronted them about it. She apologized and said nothing happened. I was mad and we eventually took a small break. We didn't break up, but we're trying to figure things out. We eventually graduate and go back home. After getting fired from her job, she decides to go back to the city our college was in because she got a job there. Through a few friends and some snooping while I was up there, I caught her sexting him again. She again denied all allegations and said it wasn't anything. Her roommate then told me she didn't come home one night until the morning to get ready and go to work. I confronted her and admitted she was with C in his apartment but just talking and lost track of time. I was stupid enough to believe this and insisted that no matter what she said I won't believe her and it doesn't benefit us in the future. We got married and a week into our marriage I saw her location at C's house. I confronted her and she tried to lie through but admitted she just went cause she felt bad for leading him on while in college. This bothered me for years and I just couldn't believe her, but I just kept going. She then goes to grad school and becomes a therapist and randomly came to me and played this game where I tell her what bothers me. I mentioned the day she was with C in his apartment. She said nothing happened and she would never do that to me. This felt sincere and I believed her. Over 5 years passed maybe and things were great. We had our son H and then our daughter C. During her pregnancy with C, she developed breast cancer, with my daughter just being born and my son at age 1. It was the darkest time in our lives. I thought this challenge made us closer and I loved her and my kids the hardest I could, as I couldn't picture a life where my kids would be motherless. Year goes by, she is done with chemo and starts radiation next week and reconstruction 3 months later. Throughout the past months she has been distant and I figured it was because of the cancer. We only have sex occasionally 1-2 a month BTW. Last week I kinda blew up on her about how she never wants to be intimate and she has been distant ever since. Today I then snooped through her phone and she had a secret FB account she used to chat with him. I saw some messages that made me want to puke. We get into a fight and I storm out the door with her phone trying to take screenshots for evidence. She comes chasing me, leaving my 2 kids crying and alone in the house. I took many screenshots but not their whole conversation as she fell to the ground and said she was dying. Some of the screenshots I got made my heart drop. Here are the screenshot details. 1. They confessed their love and she was working on leaving me without having to hurt me. 2. Sexted about when they screwed at his house and met up at a local grocery store to smash. 3. She met up with him at one of her appointments that I couldn't make it to because of work and no babysitters. 4. How they are meant to be and soon enough they will be. 5. The sickest one of all was a video she took of me and my son playing fighting with pillows. I eventually raced back home as I realized my 2 young babies were alone, but I needed the evidence. They were at the corner of the sofa crying and this just broke me. She grabs her phone back and we comfort the kids. Her sisters and parents come and she cries and admits she has been having an affair since she got sick with cancer. She claims she felt ugly and needed to be wanted from someone outside of me. She also finally admitted she had a lot of sex with him while she was working in our college town. She says she was talking to him since she got sick but only recently been meeting up. 3 times, once after a cabin trip with my sisters, once at a local grocery store, and last one was BJ after her appointment at the clinic. She put it on our kids' lives, that was it. I just find it hard to believe because those 3 times were in the messages. Anyways, she is now messaging me saying she saw her kids scared and crying and now wants to work things out with me. Suggest we try therapy for our kids' sake. Says she is broken and wants to be fixed and will spend her whole life making it up to me. She just wanted to feel wanted from someone outside of me because of her cancer. So instead of wanting to leave me for him, she wants to work it out with me and try therapy to fix herself. I don't know what to do. I grew up with divorced parents and hated it. I don't want my kids to grow up like this. I don't know if therapy will help. The thought of her touch and sex with her makes me want to puke. I feel so betrayed because I tried so hard to be the best man I could be during her cancer journey. Another thing to note, C is a known pedo. He had sex with a minor during college and tried to get sexual with a friend's niece who is underage. I mention if we split there's no way in hell my daughter is going to go near him. She didn't answer my threat of not letting my daughter near him but threatened to take me to court if I don't let her see our daughter. Sorry for the grammar and rant. PLS help, I feel like I'm dead inside. Story 2. I don't even know where to start. I came home from work early because I felt like vomiting all day after I found out this morning, and I couldn't be around people anymore. My wife and I both use Reddit, and usually it's no harm. Things like AITA etc., and we often show each other or read off funny things we find. Last night, we're sitting on the couch and I'm playing a game and I see she's on Reddit, but typing sometimes and smiling. I'm all like, babe, what are you posting? And she shows me a random post that's not her but then goes to the bathroom saying she's having stomach issues after a couple min with her phone and stays there for a while. It's pretty clear she's typing and not wanting me to see, but I try not to think too much about it. We trust each other and I don't want to invade her privacy. She doesn't come back to the couch and says she's going to bed, and I join her later and see she's still occasionally looking at her phone. But I'm exhausted and pass out. When I woke up today, I had the strangest feeling inside me. Like I know something is horribly wrong and it has to do with last night. I really shouldn't have done this when I had this presentation at work today, but I can't help it. When she's in the shower, I snoop on her phone. I don't have much time, but I look at her Reddit account. Turns out she has a couple throwaway accounts where she's all up sexting with guys. I am almost throwing up typing this. It's so disgusting. I see tool pics, her boobs, explicit fantasies, etc. etc. Like seriously, WTF? Is this real? I don't think she knows these people, judging by the age of the messages. I never expected this from the mother of my kids in a million years. In some way, this feels worse than if she were sexting with a friend or coworker. Like, how does she get off on people that she doesn't even know? Am I that crappy of a husband where she needs attention on this low level? Were I telling her she's beautiful and making love to her in person isn't enough and she needs it from strangers? It's not like we don't have an active sex life. It's not like we're not kinky and engaging in things that give her pleasure. I keep thinking this is all a dream. I didn't have much time to snoop, but I took pics of some of the worst texts with my phone. I went into her texts and email but didn't see anything. I didn't have much time to look though because she was done with the shower. I was numb and didn't confront her. I basically just left for work and yelled I was late and that's it. Whereas we usually get our kids ready together, I say a proper goodbye. Now I've been sitting at home alone for the past hour not knowing what to do. I know the smart thing is to wait to snoop more before I confront her, but I don't think I have the patience for it. I also am not even sure what to do about this. Is this actually cheating for real? Is there any hope that this meant nothing to her and she can stop? Damn, I don't even know if I would have the strength to leave her if she can't. What are the chances that random sex started and she hasn't ever met up with anyone in person? I'm so disgusted right now. I started by saying, are you doing anything inappropriate you'd like to tell me about? And maybe it was my body language or she realized something was wrong with me, but she immediately broke down and admitted to it. She had done it once before for a couple days a few months ago. It was a combination of stumbling into it, boredom and wanting validation. She has had issues with her body for a while and wanted some reassurance that she was still attractive, saying I have to say it so she couldn't believe me when I give her compliments. She claims that she was turned on by the attention but that she didn't actually get off and only was pretending to. She had no clue what these men actually looked like, so she said she couldn't actually get into it and didn't even want to take it that far. She compared it to if I had personal chats with someone on it, except she wasn't even masturbating. She cried, apologized a million times, and didn't try to blame me at all. She did try to minimize it though and wouldn't acknowledge the word cheating at first. I had planned to only engage for about 30 minutes, so I set a silent alarm on my phone, and then when it went off, I literally dropped it in the middle of the convo and left for the hotel. That was the hardest thing I'd ever done as she was begging me to not leave. I took some Benadryl but still took a while to fall asleep by myself after silencing my phone and putting it in a drawer so I wasn't tempted. I woke up several times but resisted the urge to check it. But first thing in the morning, I couldn't help it. Obviously she blew up my phone with texts, calls, etc. saying what you'd expect. She also sent me a long email where she admitted that it was cheating and that she deserved divorce and anything I chose, but she was willing to do anything to get another chance to gain my trust back. I actually went home at 7 because of my kids. She didn't actually threaten to, but in the state she was in, I was afraid she'd hurt herself and then they'd be there alone. We don't have any family close by. Of course I was afraid for her too, but mostly my heart was racing because of the kids. She hadn't slept all night and I told her to go sleep and I'd watch the kids, but she took a shower only and drank coffee to help me. We've talked in little bursts throughout the day while they're watching TV. She's crying on, off. She finally is taking a nap now since she's been up all day, and I think I've given her some indication that I'm not planning on walking away from the marriage immediately, even though I haven't said I forgive her or anything close to it. I told her basically I haven't decided, but I don't know how I can trust her again. She says she understands and she'd feel close to the same way if it were me. She deleted Reddit and also says I have full access to her phone upon request. She says I can track her location or do whatever I want for as long as it takes, or maybe even forever. She admitted that she thought I'd never find out because she was going to end these chats soon enough. But she also admitted she may have done it again in the future if she hadn't gotten caught, because in her mind, she was rationalizing it as harmless validation and only pretending to be into it as much as she was. She says she understands that it's not harmless and has hurt me permanently. She claims she never would have met up with anyone. I asked her whether she'd get bored and take it to the next level, and she says she couldn't imagine herself ever doing that. But she also admits she fell into even taking it this far. We're obviously getting marriage counseling. She also said she will start therapy again to figure out why she needs this much validation and how she can overcome this desire. I told her we need to sleep separately, and she volunteered to stay on an air mattress in our daughter's room. I cried too for the first time since this began during one of the convos this afternoon. I hadn't been able to this whole time. I feel like she broke my heart, but I also feel her sorrow. I do know of her intense need for validation. She had a rough childhood where she was abused in different ways by both parents, and then was with an abusive BF who nagged her for years before she met me. She is a normal weight but thinks she's morbidly obese. She thinks she brainwashed me somehow to get me to stay with her. I truly don't see her as being a manipulative person. She told me she loves me more than anything and she hates that she hurt me. Said this like 1,000 times. I'm so exhausted. I don't know what I'm hoping for, but I just want to not feel this pain. At the very least, I think I'll go ahead with the counseling to see how this can be salvaged. The texts and images still disgust me, but I feel sad more than angry. Thanks everyone for reading this and all the support, comments. I read them multiple times, and a lot of the advice was spot on and helped me get this far. I may update later in another post, but I might also take a break from my phone for a few days. Update. In brief, I had a gut feeling and found some sex with random Reddit men on my wife's phone. She confessed and seemingly gave me full transparency going forward, saying she only wanted validation. She said she has never met up with anyone in real life and swore there was nothing more. It hurt like hell, but I accepted her apology and decided to try marriage counseling. Since then, I hadn't been able to convince myself that it was all. I feel now dumb, but I only since discovered that you can see recently deleted texts and pics, which I didn't check before in my snooping. So last night when I stayed awake ruminating on it once again, I looked in my wife's phone one last time in the recently deleted texts. While I'm sure a lot of you will berate me for being so naive, I found sex with her screwing coworker, someone I've hung out with several times, who's been to our house with his wife and kid. I found messages indicating that they have met up in my past for sex at his house while his wife is working and a kid at school, but she most recently told him they'll have to take a break for a bit. I found a couple sexy pics my wife sent him of her body. I can't get his words out of my head. Can't wait to lick you again. You get me so hard. I'm going to finish all over your chest next time. I'm absolutely horrified. And I'm done. She played me for a fool, swearing up and down that she never physically stepped out. I haven't told her I know yet. My heart is breaking for our kids who will now grow up in a broken home. I truly thought we had the most perfect life a couple weeks ago. I feel like I'm going to break, but I decided not to tell her until I meet with some lawyers this week. I already took pics of the evidence, but I'm in a no-fault state, so I don't know if it's worth anything. I'll follow their advice on what to do. I'm also going to call my brother and see if he can come into town and stay with me for a few days when crap hits the fan. I'm going to try to get her to leave the house, move out, but not sure how. I also want to confront the bastard who's screwing my wife at their work or in front of his wife, but I won't give in to my revenge fantasies yet. I don't know how I am going to get through this. Story 3. I was planning to propose to my girlfriend, but she admitted after a night out that she cheated on me and is begging for forgiveness. How do I go about this? I've known my girlfriend since we were in kindergarten. She's helped me through thick and thin. Through periods of depression, when my parents were being abusive, when I lost my grandparents, through it all. She's genuinely my hero. She's also so warm-hearted, caring, selfless, and the best person I know. About a month ago, I told her parents and mine that I wanted to marry her, and we agreed to rent out our favorite amusement park, where I would propose to her, which is also where I confessed my love to her. It is still rented for the 29th of August. It was also perfect, until yesterday. My girlfriend said that she's going to a karaoke event with her female friends. At 2 a.m. today, she returned, clearly drunk, and collapsed in bed. This morning, she woke up in tears and apologized profusely. After she'd calmed down, she explained that she was drunk and decided to have sex with another man at the party after the karaoke and regretted it afterwards a lot. When I asked why she'd do this, she said that she was so drunk that she completely blanked on the fact that she was in a relationship with me. That sounded to me like she would have sex with other men if she wasn't with me, so I asked if she was unhappy in bed, but she reassured me that that's not the case and couldn't ask for anything more from me and regrets everything she did. I had so many more questions that I wanted to ask, but my heart completely broke and I began crying. She hugged me and said that she would do anything to get my trust back and constantly asked not to break up over this. I said that I needed some time to think and went into a separate room. I have now been sitting in this room heartbroken for many hours now and don't know what to do. She said that she'd do anything to get my trust back, so I have hope that there's something I can change to ensure that she never cheats on me again. Like always going with her when she goes outside, but that feels really controlling and disgusting to me. Is there any way to not break up and still have trust again that she will never cheat on me again? If I do break up though, I don't think I can ever love anyone like her again. Please try to understand and comprehend that I've known her since not long after I was even born. We were often in the same class, doing the same schoolwork together, playing together, eating together, doing everything together. I spent many years trying to confess my love. We've spent many years living, loving, smiling together. She feels like a part of me by now. How can I just throw that part away and pretend I'll be fine? I'm saying this because I know it's common on this subreddit to basically just say move on, but I really don't think that's possible for me. So I'm really looking for responses that suggest how we can stay together with rules to ensure that this never happens again. I would also like to hear suggestions about whether I tell mine and/or her parents of the incident. I'll have to tell them to cancel the amusement park event, so I probably will have to tell them what happened, but I could excuse the cancellation as me not feeling quite ready yet or something. I'm mainly considering this because I don't want her parents to be mad, yell at her or be cold towards her, because, as I explained before, she's always been my hero, and I don't want someone who's helped me so much get hurt, especially because I've experienced how much that hurts. Update. The title is probably a good enough summary to let you read this post without lacking much information anyway, so here's the update. A day after the post, I decided to ask for clarification as to what exactly happened. I was mentally prepared for every possible response, except the one she gave me. From all of the information she gave me, I have tried organizing the most important information below. Before the karaoke, the boyfriend of one of her friends, whom I'm acquainted with but not particularly close with, decided to join at the last minute. Let's call him Richard. During the karaoke, her female friends kept daring her to chug beers. She told them to stop daring her after 3 drinks, but they kept insisting, and making her feel bad by saying stuff like you never drink much anyway. So just for today, try to have some fun and stop ruining the moment, and other stuff, so she continued. She says that she remembers drinking 10 beers in about an hour. She says it's likely she drank more after that but doesn't remember anything after the 10 drinks, except waking up back home. She says that the drinks very likely made her blackout drunk. In my original post, I didn't provide much detail about when she returned from karaoke due to the word limit on posts, and me not thinking that the information would matter much. Regardless, the day she returned, her female friends were carrying her by her shoulders and I had to also carry her to her bed. Her legs were barely moving, her body was not holding upright, and she wasn't able to form coherent sentences. Although, until then, I did not have any experience with a person who blacked out, I can only imagine that her situation was a blackout. So, I do also believe that she got blackout drunk. When she woke up, she had 10 missed calls from her friends. When she called back, her friends explained what happened while she was blackout drunk. During the karaoke, Richard said that he needed to talk to her for a moment to strategize on how they'd sing as partners. The friends decided to continue the karaoke while Richard and my GF strategized. After half an hour, neither Richard or my GF were back, so they started checking for where they were. After an unknown amount of time, Richard's GF saw Richard having sex with my GF. Of course, Richard and his GF broke up, and then all of the females brought my GF home. After finding out about this, my GF was mad and shouted how dare he rape me, but her friend said he's saying she consented. My GF says that she was speechless and hung up, because she couldn't believe she consented to that and started crying because she believed that she cheated on me by consenting and thought our relationship was over. She didn't know that legally, if a person is drunk, consent or not, you cannot have sex with them. I was surprised she thought this, because, even if you don't know the laws on this, how could it possibly be morally, or even solely logically speaking fine to ask for someone's consent when they're barely able to communicate or think? I was really shocked by this story and started feeling really bad for my GF. I explained to her that this is rape, not consensual sex. I hugged her and tried to comfort her and asked if she needed anything and how she was feeling. She said that because she doesn't even remember anything after the drinks, she doesn't feel any of the responses normally felt after rape, like trauma. She said that she's mainly disgusted by Richard but also mad at herself for losing control so easily because of a dare and hurting me like this. We went to the police station to report this. The investigation is still ongoing. Also, to be honest, I was still a little suspicious that the story could have been made up or misconstrued, so I went to the karaoke place that they went to and explained the situation and asked if I could see the camera's footage. They agreed, and there was footage of the exact situation that I was told playing out. There was also footage of Richard asking my GF sex, and my GF responding in a very drunk and barely audible voice I like. That bastard really thought that was consent. I have of course also provided this footage to the police. Although the police's investigation has not concluded, the evidence I saw is in my opinion enough for me to believe her. My girlfriend volunteered to explain the situation to both of our parents because she wants to take accountability for her actions. Her parents were very apologetic and sweet about the situation, which I appreciated a lot. My parents brought us both together to make sure that all of us were on the same page, and we had a big group hug, and my dad said something that really resonated with me. This situation is really crappy for everyone, but I know that love will prevail in the end. Unfortunately, it was too late to go back to the theme park that we rented that day, so we agreed to proceed with it but without the proposal and invited a bunch more people. I told both mine and her parents that I would decide when the time is right to tell her that we initially rented that amusement park to propose. I told her about a week ago when things were more back to normal and her feelings seemed very complicated as one would expect, but I think her summary of her emotions being devastated but understanding is pretty good. Thanks to the advice of many Redditors, we have decided to take couples therapy, which has been really helpful in helping us understand each other and get even closer. She proposed to herself that she never wanted to drink alcohol again. She said that it never even tasted that good anyway and never made me happy in the long term. She said that she mainly just drinks to fit in, but now plans to stop. So far, that goal has been going great. We also realized that we both always want to do events like karaoke together but sometimes worry about bothering the other. Even on the day that she went with her friends, she wanted to go with me, but thought that I looked busy, so went alone. I was not busy. We have worked hard at being more communicative and expressing our feelings more, and it has seriously been great. I have also told her about my Reddit post. I want to thank everyone for all of the advice, even if it was a little mean. We are both so happy right now, and I have faith that despite this bump in the road, we'll keep riding this car forever.